Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. No one cares. Not about your excuses, not about your failures, not even about your dreams. The world will keep moving whether you win or lose. And the sooner you accept that reality, the freer you become. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They believed that chasing approval, begging for sympathy, or expecting the world to understand your struggles only makes you weaker. But when you accept that no one cares, when you stop needing applause, validation, or pity, you unlock a kind of freedom that can make you unstoppable. This is not about being cold or heartless. It's about realizing that your life is your responsibility. You don't need the world to care. You need to care enough about yourself to do the work, to face the pain, and to keep going when no one is watching. That's where real power begins. In this video, I'm going to share with you 7 Stoic truths that completely transform your life once you accept that no one cares. These are not just ideas. They are weapons against weakness, tools that build discipline, and reminders that you hold the power to change everything. So watch until the very end, because if you embrace these truths, your mindset will shift forever. And if you're serious about building unshakable strength, make sure to subscribe right now. Every week we uncover the ancient wisdom that makes you untouchable in a world full of noise. Truth 1. No one cares about your excuses. Only results matter. The first Stoic truth that liberates you is this: no one cares about your excuses. You can have the best reasons in the world for why your life isn't where you want it to be. You can point to your childhood, your environment, the lack of opportunities, even the betrayal of others. And while all of that may be true, the hard reality is this: the world doesn't reward excuses. It only rewards results. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest leaders in history, wrote to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What he meant was simple. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control your response. Complaining about your circumstances changes nothing. Acting on them changes everything. Most people waste their energy trying to justify why they failed. They want sympathy. They want someone to validate their pain. But the Stoic mindset teaches you that sympathy doesn't move mountains. Sympathy doesn't build empires. Sympathy doesn't forge strength. Only discipline and action do. The moment you stop expecting people to care about your excuses, you free yourself. Because now, instead of focusing on what you can't do, you begin focusing on what you must do. Instead of waiting for others to understand your struggle, you understand that your struggle is the path. The obstacle isn't blocking your progress. It is the progress. Think about it. Every great man in history had reasons to quit. Seneca lived through exile. Epictetus was born a slave. Marcus Aurelius carried the weight of ruling an empire in constant war. They had more excuses than most people alive today. Yet their greatness was forged precisely because they didn't rely on excuses. They relied on their actions. So here's the shift. No one cares why you didn't succeed, but they will care when you do. No one cares about your excuses, but they will respect your results. Stop wasting breath defending your weaknesses. Use that same breath to strengthen your discipline, your habits, your decisions, because in the end, history only remembers the results, and so should you. Truth 2. No one cares about your pain. It's your job to carry it. The second truth is even harder to accept. No one cares about your pain. Yes, people may show you temporary sympathy. They may say kind words. But at the end of the day, the weight you carry is yours alone. No one is going to live your life for you. No one is going to endure your suffering for you. And no one is going to walk your path but you. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it." The same applies here. Don't explain your pain. Don't broadcast it for pity. Instead, carry it with dignity. Because pain is not meant to be escaped. It is meant to be transformed. The Stoics understood pain as a teacher. Seneca wrote, "Fire tests gold, suffering tests brave men." In other words, pain is not a curse but a forge. The heat you feel, the burden you bear, it is shaping you into something stronger, something unbreakable, if you allow it. But the key is responsibility. Your pain is your responsibility. It does not belong to anyone else. Think about this. When you suffer, you have two choices. You can cry out, demanding that others notice, hoping for their comfort. Or you can endure in silence, using that suffering as fuel to sharpen your character. One path leaves you dependent on others for relief. The other path makes you self-reliant and free. The truth is, most people don't want to see your pain because they have their own. Everyone is carrying something, and that's why no one can carry yours for you. Accept this, and you will stop wasting energy hoping for rescue. Instead, you'll begin to build yourself into someone who doesn't need rescue. This doesn't mean you should never seek support, but it does mean that your pain is ultimately yours to transform. The Stoics teach us not to cry out, "Why me?" but to say, "Why not me?" Why should you be exempt from the struggles that have tested every human who ever lived? Your pain is not punishment. It is the arena where your strength is revealed. When you accept that no one cares about your pain, you stop being a victim of it. You start becoming the master of it. And that shift is what turns suffering into greatness. Truth 3. No one cares about your dreams until you make them real. The third Stoic truth is this: no one cares about your dreams. You may lie awake at night imagining the life you want. You may speak passionately about your goals to friends and family. But here's the reality. No one will take your dreams as seriously as you do. And they shouldn't. Because your dreams are not theirs. They are yours. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." One of the ways people waste life is by talking endlessly about what they want to do instead of actually doing it. They wait for encouragement, approval, or someone else's belief in their vision. But the world does not believe in dreams. It believes in evidence. And the only way to produce evidence is through action. Most people expect support before they've proven anything. They want applause before the work is done. But the Stoic way is to expect nothing and build regardless. Do not wait for others to believe in you. Believe in yourself enough to take the first step, and then another, and then another. Slowly, through action, your dreams become real. And when they are real, people will notice. The truth is, your dreams are invisible to others until you give them form. A vision in your mind means nothing until it's translated into action in the world. No one will care about the book you want to write until it's written. No one will care about the business you want to build until it exists. No one will care about the change you want to make until they can see it in front of them. And here's the freedom in this truth. Once you accept that no one cares about your dreams, you stop needing their belief. You stop begging for their support. Instead, you pour your energy into building in silence. You let your progress, not your words, speak for you. Epictetus reminded his students constantly, "Stop explaining, start embodying. Stop talking about your dreams, live them. Work in silence until the results become undeniable." Because the moment your dream becomes real, the same people who ignored you will suddenly notice. They will say they believed in you all along. But you'll know the truth. You didn't need them to care. You only needed yourself. So, stop waiting for the world to validate your vision. Build it. Protect it. Work at it every single day. And when it becomes real, it won't matter who cared in the beginning, because the results will speak louder than anyone's doubts. Truth 4. No one cares about your struggles. They only see who you become. Here's a sobering reality. People rarely care about what you went through to get somewhere. They don't see the nights you stayed awake, the sacrifices you made, or the pain you endured. All they see is the person you've become. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, stop trying to explain your journey and simply live it. The truth is, the world is not keeping score of your struggles. It is watching the final product. And the only way to honor your struggles is to let them transform you into someone stronger. This truth frees you because it shifts your focus. Instead of being consumed with proving how hard your life is, you use that energy to build who you are becoming. Struggles are not meant to be advertised. They are meant to be endured, survived, and then silently turned into power. Think about it. A diamond doesn't explain the pressure it endured. A soldier doesn't list every hardship from training. A great man doesn't ask to be pitied for the pain he went through. The greatness itself is proof. The result speaks louder than the suffering. And here's the irony. Once you become someone of strength, people will look at you and assume it was easy. They won't know the depth of your pain, and that's okay. Because your struggles were never meant to be understood by everyone. They were meant to shape you. So stop seeking validation for your hardships. Accept that no one cares about the struggle. What they will see, what they will admire, is who you become because of it. And that is enough. Truth 5. No one cares about your failures, unless you let them define you. Failure is one of the most feared experiences in life. But here's the truth. No one cares about your failures unless you give them power. People may notice when you fall. They may even laugh or criticize. But their attention is short-lived. What lasts is not the failure itself, but your reaction to it. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Failure is not the end unless you accept it as the end. In fact, failure is one of the most reliable teachers you will ever have. The Stoics didn't see failure as shameful. They saw it as a test, an opportunity to sharpen resilience, a chance to practice virtue. The problem is that most people internalize failure as identity. They think, "I failed, therefore I am a failure." But no one else truly carries that belief about you unless you reinforce it. People forget. The world moves on. The only person who remembers your failure every day is you. And that's the burden you must let go of. Imagine two men failing at the same task. One wallows, talks endlessly about his bad luck, and gives up. The other learns quietly, adapts, and tries again. Who will be respected in the long run? Not the one who complained, but the one who refused to let failure define him. Here's the liberation. When you realize no one truly cares about your failures, you become free to fail often, to fail fast, and to fail forward. Each failure becomes fuel. Each setback becomes a stepping stone. And over time, those who once mocked you will be silenced by the strength you gained from failure. Failure doesn't make you weak. Refusing to rise does. Accept this Stoic truth, and failure will no longer chain you. It will free you. Truth 6. No one cares about your success. At least, not the way you think. Here's the paradox. Even when you succeed, no one cares the way you hope. Some people will celebrate you. Some will envy you, and many won't think about you at all. That's because your success belongs to you, not them. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." One of the ways we suffer is by imagining that people care deeply about our achievements, either positively or negatively. But the truth is, everyone is too focused on their own lives. They may notice your success briefly, but then they return to their own struggles. This truth is powerful because it protects you from two traps: pride and disappointment. If you believe people care too much about your success, you may become prideful, constantly seeking recognition. Or worse, you may feel disappointed when your achievements don't earn the praise you expected. The Stoics warn us against both. Instead, the wise man pursues success for his own growth, not for external validation. He doesn't build himself to impress others. He builds because mastery itself is the reward. Silence becomes his companion, humility his shield, discipline his compass. Think about it. When Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome, he was the most powerful man alive. Yet in his writings, he constantly reminded himself that fame, recognition, and even glory fade quickly. He knew success meant little if it wasn't anchored in virtue. So remember this. No one cares about your success as much as you do. And that is exactly how it should be. Your success is your journey. Celebrate it privately, share it wisely, and let it fuel your growth rather than your ego. Because real success is not applause, it's peace. Truth 7. No one cares about you. And that's the ultimate freedom. Finally, the most radical Stoic truth of all. No one truly cares about you. Not in the way you imagine. Yes, people may love you, respect you, even admire you. But at the end of the day, everyone is living their own life, fighting their own battles, and carrying their own burdens. And that realization should not depress you. It should set you free. Why? Because when you accept that no one cares, you stop living for their approval. You stop performing to please an audience that isn't watching. You stop bending your life to fit expectations that don't matter. Marcus Aurelius said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Think about that. You care more about what others think than about what you truly want. And yet, those others are barely thinking about you at all. This truth liberates you from fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of being misunderstood. If no one is really focused on you, then why not live boldly? Why not pursue the path you know is right? Why not speak less, build more, and create a life of meaning on your own terms? The Stoic life is not about isolation. It's about independence. It's about realizing that your worth is not in how much others care, but in how much discipline, virtue, and strength you cultivate within.